So small group skills-based instruction is an approach to teaching literacy that helps us meet the needs of all of our students. It allows the teacher to focus on the skills that each student needs to really attain to improve their development in literacy, and it also allows us to make sure that we're providing just what every student needs along the way. At the same time, it allows for students to work independently so that they can work on must-dos and may-dos, which are those skills that they learned about in their small group lesson and in their whole group lesson, and then they can apply those lessons in their must-do and may-do activity time. We all really work together to provide a balanced literacy approach for our students through small group skills-based instruction. We've been fortunate enough to be supported by Dr. Deborah Reed and Dr. Buryanik in this work, and I really see that our students are moving forward with their literacy achievement.
I think one of the biggest changes I've seen this year as we've continued our work with small group skills-based instruction is the intentional instruction that's given to students based on what they need. Teachers have been very thoughtful about the data that they use and using that data to find the resources that would meet the specific skill needs for each student. And when you have that, kids are getting what they need, they're learning, and they're making growth.
So when I work with a group, I position myself where I can see everyone. And then when I'm done working with my group, I give them an independent activity at my table and I walk around and just kind of touch base with all the other groups to make sure they're doing what they're doing. If they have questions, I can quick ask those. And then they also have an accountability piece that assures that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it also helps, maybe they forget what they're supposed to be doing. They can check that accountability piece to make sure they're doing every job that needs to be done at that workstation. At the beginning of the school year, we really focused on the expectations for workstations. So that helped. They really know what they're supposed to be doing. But then I keep observing students while I'm working with my group. When I get done with my group, I go around and make sure there's no questions, they're still working. And then once workstations are all done, I ring the bell, we stop, we come back and we kind of discuss. Did you follow all the workstation expectations? Did you get started right away? Did you do your must-do? Did you move on to your may-do? And that really helps kind of just remind them of their expectations for workstations.
Some of the things that I do in here to help those transition to the carpet when our center's done is I have a bell. I also like to put kids on the clock and use those two things together so they get roughly 15 minutes to do their stations. And at 1 minute I will ring a bell as I'm wrapping up my small group instruction, and that's their signal to begin the cleanup process.
When we get our must-do may-dos, we get about 10 must-do may-dos that we do over the week. Each must-do may-do takes about 20 minutes, and we have 3 must-do may-do rotations each day. The must-do may-do lists are different mainly because they let us customize our learning, and they let us choose how we learn. So if one day we want to just do all of our activities that we have on the computer, we can do that. If one day we want to focus on fluency, we can do that. And another we want to focus on vocabulary, we have that choice. I think the must-do may-dos help me become a better reader because with the must-do may-dos, I am able to see how I'm learning and change how I learn to fit more at my level.
I think generally speaking, there's an assumption that oftentimes teachers in schools are just assessing yearly or quarterly, but in reality, teachers are assessing every day, and that's the expectation. So we use a combination of our summative assessments. We have common district summative assessments where our teachers, they look at where their students are compared to their peers, where they are in the continuum with substantially above, substantially below. Our teachers take their summative assessments and then we analyze them monthly and look at the different components of literacy: phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, vocabulary, and fluency. And then they determine what skills do they really need, and then they form their groups that way.
In looking at our data, we had teachers work together and collaborate around how can we provide students a more differentiated approach to literacy. Through that, teachers are able to use that data to determine what skills students need to learn and work on.
In our district, with the initiative of the small group skills-based instruction, the expectation is you should be doing a formative assessment every single day with your students. And that's whether or not they're working independently or with you in a small group. So of course we look at that summative data, we look at that Iowa assessment data yearly, we look at our quarterly summative. But really the real work and the real decisions made are on our daily formative assessments that the teachers give.